Hi, this is Micah Clark, Director of the American Family Association of Indiana. This is our second week of the Indiana General Assembly, and we wanted to give you an update this Friday, January 14th, about what happened in this week of the Indiana General Assembly. Well, again, this week I spent 5 hours in the education hearing, trying to give testimony on the issue of critical race theory and House Bill 1134. Now, there's a lot of misinformation out there about these two bills that are moving in the legislature. Senate Bill 167 and House Bill 1134 are both practically identical bills. They prevent the teaching of divisive racial concepts that have so many parents upset. If you read my weekly email this week on Wednesday, you saw 4 different polls that I cited, not necessarily conservative sources. USA Today was one of the polls, within the last 6 months, showing that Americans do not support critical race theory being taught in schools. And when the poll questions explain what critical race theory is, the numbers shoot up beyond 70%, even up to 80% on certain issues with critical race theory. They're divisive. But what are those issues? You know, one of the things that I think helps when you hear opposition to these bills, the teachers' unions are working against this feverishly. A lot of school superintendents are putting things out, including my own here in Noblesville. But I want to read a couple sections from the bill. I know that doesn't make for great video. Sometimes that's difficult. But I want to get you a few facts about House Bill 1134 and Senate Bill 167. And here are a couple of the points. See if you agree with this. Ask yourself who can disagree with this. If you think about the importance of education, teaching kids reading, writing, arithmetic, and the things that matter. Here's what would be prohibited. I'm reading directly from the bill, 36-page bill right in front of me. Number 1, and I won't read all 8 points. I'll pull out a couple. School employee may not affirm, adopt, or adhere to any of the following tenets: that any sex, race, ethnicity, religion, color, national origin, or political affiliation is inherently superior or inferior to another race, sex, ethnicity, religion, color, national origin, or political affiliation. Another point that would be prohibited: teaching that an individual by virtue of their sex, race, ethnicity, religion, color, national origin, or political affiliation is inherently racist, sexist, or oppressive, whether consciously or unconsciously. Another point they couldn't teach: that an individual should be discriminated against or receive adverse treatment solely or partly because of the individual's sex, race, ethnicity, religion, color, national origin, or political affiliation. That an individual by virtue could not teach this as well. That an individual by virtue of the individual's sex, race, ethnicity, religion, color, national origin, or political affiliation bears responsibility for actions committed in the past by other members of the same sex, race, ethnicity, religion, color, national origin, or political affiliation. They could not teach that meritocracy or traits such as hard work, ethics, are racist or sexist or were created by members of a particular sex, race, ethnicity, religion, color, national origin, or political affiliation to oppress members of another sex, race, ethnicity, religion, color, national origin, or political affiliation. Just like those polls I mentioned, I think if people read that bill, they would why would anybody oppose this? Why would teachers teach these things? I don't want my kids taught that one race is superior, one race is inferior, or that because of my color or ethnicity or gender that I'm responsible for the things that happened in the past. So when you hear about these things, just remember this is what this bill targets to protect kids from being indoctrinated about. Also, you may hear some teachers or some opponents say, well, this will harm how we teach history education. Well, only if you're teaching critical race theory. Nothing in House Bill 1134 or Senate Bill 167 impacts or touches the required state content standards for history. Those do not change. Schools are still required to teach about slavery, civil rights movement. Everything they're teaching last year, they would have to teach next year according to the state standards. That's what teachers follow. That's what their curriculum follows. This is primarily, I think, about bringing in outside videos, outside speakers, and radical concepts, political activities, political materials that kids are being exposed to and told what to think rather than how to think. So House Bill 1134 passed out of the Education Committee on an 8-5 vote. It's now in the second stage where they will amend this. They'll make changes to it. They made a few changes to make it not so burdensome to teachers because of some of the teachers' concerns about posting curriculum. But the bill is going to move forward. I believe it will pass the House with over 60 votes, maybe 65 votes. But that won't happen unless people call their state representative and encourage them to support House Bill 1134 at 317 232 9600. That's 317 232 9600. So next week, that bill will be debated on the floor by all 100 members of the Indiana House, and a vote will be likely taken by the middle of next week. So make your calls to House Bill 1134. If you don't know who your state legislator is, a lot of people don't, it's perfectly fine. Google the Indiana General Assembly website. Happens to be in.gov /legislative, and you can find on that link, on that page, a link that says find your legislator. So find the Indiana General Assembly webpage, click on the front page, find your legislator, and there it will enter your home address, and you can call your legislator's voicemail directly from that number. It's a direct number. You can also email them. I would encourage you to do both. Both are effective. Both are important. And also you can type in that bill or any other bill we mentioned and read the bill for yourself. I would encourage people to do that because there's a lot of misinformation out there. And I want to be accurate as well. So feel free to read the bill. Ask me any questions if you like. But any bill that we talk about, you can find on that legislative session and you can, page, and you can track as well the progress of that bill. Now, I mentioned last week that we have over 1,000 bills filed. Only about 200 will make it. A bill has to make it through every step. So committee hearings will end around the 26th. If a bill has not had a hearing and a vote at that point, it is technically dead. So we'll have a lot fewer bills to follow after the 26th of January. Now, a couple other bills I want to mention. And by the way, I should say this. It was in my email 2 weeks ago. But last week in our video, which by the way, we had over 350 people view this video, first video last week. That's impressive. I appreciate you looking at my face and listening to me. It's hard for me to do, but I appreciate that you do that. I hope we're giving you good information. But I mentioned an example of why America is not racist and comparing to Nazi Germany. The fact that millions of African Americans immigrate to the United States over the last 3 decades, and nobody would immigrate to Germany if they were Jewish. That was an example I took from Dennis Prager, which was in my email. I mentioned that, but I wanted to give him credit for that. It wasn't my original thought. It was just a very good thought. So a couple bills we're looking at. I think I have 6 bills I have to testify on this week, which is a lot. Most of them are on Wednesday of this week, so your prayers are appreciated. But one bill we're looking at is Senate Bill 11 by Senator Dennis Cruz. This would allow the posting of historic religious documents in government buildings. That's already allowed in public schools. It's been current law since 1996 when I worked on that with State Representative John Padfield back then. This would simply apply to other government buildings. It's voluntary, doesn't require posting it, but if somebody wants to post something, they're allowed to do that. Another bill is House Bill 1041. That is a bill regarding girls' sports, protecting competitive sports, prevents biological males from competing in girls' competitive sports in K through 12 education. A lot of girls work very hard to be in sports. That could also mean college scholarships, and we certainly don't want men taking those away from women. There's men's sports men can participate in. Another bill is House Bill 1190. I expect that to get a hearing on Wednesday. This is a free speech on campus bill that has been drafted in part by Alliance Defending Freedom, a legal group that would give free speech rights to students and teachers on college campuses by Representative Jack Jordan. You might be surprised who supports that. Some well-known presidents of a certain university in Lafayette, I think, is going to support that, former governor. And I think that bill should pass. And so we're going to watch that as well. There's also House Bill 1122, which concerns pornography. And currently right now, A sexually oriented business cannot operate within 500 feet of a school or a daycare or a child care center or a place where children congregate or gather. And this bill would expand that buffer zone and update some language regarding definitions of adult businesses. So that will be on Wednesday morning. And there's also a bill, Senate Bill 17, that will be heard regarding obscenity and protecting children from obscenity in school. It simply removes a exemption that schools have regarding prosecution. That was a part of Senate Bill 167 and still is a part of that bill, as well as 1134. But they're going to hear a separate bill on that also. There was very little opposition to this other than the Library Association, and their arguments were pathetic. So I'm hopeful that Senate Bill 17 will pass. Library Association claims there's no pornography in school libraries, so they shouldn't have a problem with this bill and this exemption, which is simply the removal of, I believe, 2 words from current code. So that's my update for the week. If you have any questions, you can email me at micah@afain.net. You can go to our website, afain.net. You can sign up for our weekly email. I appreciate you getting those, and that will give you more details every week on Wednesday. And then, again, the phone numbers for the Indiana House are 317-232-9600 for House Bill 1134, House Bill 1090, and House Bill 1122. For the Senate, the phone number is 317-232-9400 for Senate Bill 167, Senate Bill 17, and Senate Bill 11. Now, you can also track those bills on the Indiana government website, at the General Assembly website at in.gov/legislative. You can find your legislator there and directly contact them through email and by phone. So thank you for joining us this week. Thank you for watching these videos and reading our weekly email. And I will be back with you next week, hopefully with some positive news. Thank you.